Welcome back. Yes, it's CB Sunday. And we're going to be looking at a few things that we've already looked at before. Yeah, I know. How boring is that? That's just the way it goes with these projects. You have to review. We're going to be picking up where we left off with that. We're going to be taking another look at that because things have changed. And maybe we'll take another look at this front end. All in all, a twist in the tail. Yes. Oliver Twist. Reviewing the situation? No. Never mind the tail. I'm reconsidering the original pegs. Yes, I am. And for, not a bad reason. The reality is these have got this aspect, right? And when you start putting on solid pegs, it's a bit of a nightmare if you actually grounded one, right? Because it could get horrible quite quickly. Not that we want to go there, but if you hit your peg and it's solid, and it could possibly just flip the bike rather than ground out. Depends on the situation. So there's a good reason for having pegs that are springy. These high volume manufacturers know what they're doing. They have safety standards to adhere to. And in fairness, that is not a bad thing. So yeah, I think we need to revise this. Something like that. And that's going to get complicated on the curvature side of things because obviously this curve is now changed from the original, which is an exact duplicate of the MV Agusta pillion seat. And we're going to have to, on the two different variations, we're going to have to kind of extrapolate that. Oh, I know, that's already 4 syllables. That's very complicated, right? But essentially, we're going to have to create some curves that work with each other and come back to the original seat curve. This one. Right? They all have to work together while covering up their nasty nuts and bolts and things. Yes, finally we're back to 1 syllable things and we're all on the same page. So, something like that. Maybe. Well, while we're looking at brakes and things, which we were earlier, I had a quick look at the brake rod, whatever you call it. Anyway, the activation device for the rear brake, which was horribly bent up, as you may remember. I have straightened it a bit. I can still straighten it some more. I've cleaned it up. And I have got this, which, as you can see, is very straight. It's slightly longer. It's actually off an old dog kennel. And I was thinking of replacing it, but I don't know how to fix it in there. Yeah. It's got like a little T-bar at the end. And then, of course, I'd have to thread it and put a lip on it for a spring. And it's a little bit bigger as well. So I don't think that's going to work. Meantime, just mocking up this revised seat situation, and I don't like it actually. I mean, it's a variation on the theme, widening out, but I kind of don't like it. I liked the fact that it all followed the line of the seat, and now it doesn't. So I think we're going to stick to plan A, but at least I now have my clown hat. Oh no, it's more like a bishop's, isn't it? No, same thing. So that leaves the question of tidying that up somehow, because it's not very nice. Spray that a little bit matte black. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's as far as it goes. Yeah, just spray the tab black. so it blends in a bit. Yeah, maybe that's it. And I've dressed the kickstart pedal with some of my shrink wrap stuff. Probably won't last 5 minutes, but it looks nice. And the more I look at this, the less I like it, actually. I mean, I like it there, but when you look at it like that, it's like, really? Yeah. So I'm either going to have to do the same the other side, which I don't really want to, because it might not work, or I'm going to have to do something more similar to that on the left-hand side. Yes, we've been unravelling. Well, truth is, I've been unravelling for years. Anyway, I wanted to get to the bottom of all this. So, blue and black, brake switch. Red, both power. Green, kind of random earth. And this boy, which was nicely labelled black and white coil. Yeah, which goes there. So we're all good. Just wanted to get to the bottom of it, because I'm trying to work out where everything's going to go. And as you can see, we've just about got enough room for a 3-inch battery. If we mount these here, we might not. But here's my idea: a little strip, given that we're putting some kind of cover here, a little strip of metal, not wood, between the two mounts, these two mounts, which are for the cover, and that should work. And then our cover that we make, or the other one, if I go back to using that, will cover all that. We may not need that strip there to mount those, depending on what kind of device we come up with for a battery cradle. Meantime, we've routed the oil breather hose, so it comes down here. There's a nice little P-clip holding it in on the back of the oil tank there. You can just make it out there, and that comes down and straight onto the back wheel. No, comes down there. Yeah, so that's good. So having stripped all this off, that horrible snotty tape, I think I want to clad it in my normal cladding and get to a point where we get to the coil at least, and then work out what we're going to do with it from there, because obviously it's going to tie up with all that switchgear there as well. So I've actually disconnected this from the fuse box, because we got the 15 amp that feeds most things. All that cobbler's coming off it. We've got the brake switch, we got the brake light, and we've got the it's not the regulator, it's the other one. Anyway, we've got that. And we've got something else as well. What's this? Oh yeah, that's the coil job, this coil job. So yes, I've tied this up to this end, and the rest, so this is the brake switch, and there's a horrible connection there probably, which I haven't unravelled yet. That goes to the brake switch. So I might just chop that there, because this wiring might be horrible, and it's only got to go that far. And we just have one more power cable, which will end up going to the other switch for the headlights. I'm not going to chop it yet, I'm just going to leave it dangling. Anyway, this one I left out on purpose, because that's going to feed the Speedo. Yes, our little USB device. So that just needs to loop round and into there. Let's do that. Rectifier, that's what it is, man. Anyway, there it is. That's where I think I'm going to mount it, under there. Bearing in mind the top of it will be covered by the brake light. So that's going to go there. So we can get rid of that for now. Lovely. So I think we need to get designing the matching side plate for the other side. Then we need to have a look at that starter motor. No, not that one. We've taken care of that one. Still pondering the brake pedal situation as well. And what I'm thinking is that could possibly use the existing brake pedal by putting a cut in it and re-welding it about where my finger is actually. So something like that. We'd obviously have to adjust the spring because that wants to ping it back. But yeah, that might work. And while we're looking at pedals, I thought I'd have a look at this. So yeah, I guess they modified this. Okay. Well, I mean, that's what my brake pedal could end up like if I modify that. Yeah, what should we do about that? Intentionally shortened, or did it break and that's just the best way they thought they'd fix it? Meantime, this has arrived and it's in a lot better condition than the one that was on it, so it's not such a bad thing that I threw it away after all. Anyway, obviously fits perfectly. Lots of contraptions on this side to mount the solenoid. That's down here. And various other bits and bobs, I think. Anyway, I'm going to clean it up and paint it. And there we have it, with the small battery neatly nestled in there with the aid of some packing foam, which I kept, because I keep things like this, because they come in handy. Yes. And of course that provides the perfect production mount for the starter solenoid, which is good. And I re-armoured that with one of those heat shrink things, and likewise on that end, just to keep things all safe and neat and tidy. So that's all kind of ready to wire in. And I tested it as well, and it works. So these go off to the switch. Green is obviously power, yes, logical, and white is earth. Very helpful. Not so much there. Very dirty is power, and slightly dirty is earth. On the other end of things, the red goes to the fuse, or my trip fuse. The red and white goes to the rectifier. The red and white, which I've cleaned up, which is actually marked starter solenoid. There it is. Yes, got the paint off it. And yes, it goes to that fuse, my trip fuse. Don't know where I'm going to put that. Shall we have a look? Well, right now it could go here, but of course, you know, that would put it behind whatever cover we're going to be using on this side, whether we revert to our later model cover or not, I don't know. But that would mean it would be behind that, which wouldn't be sensible for a quick fix when it trips, if it trips. Alternatively, it could go up here somewhere, like that, where it would be relatively accessible, should one need to, even once the carburetors are back on, I think. Of course, it can go anywhere, really. It's not particularly pretty, so I don't know. So these turned up, or this the proverbial slow boat, and yeah, looks like it's gonna work, right? Hole looks about the same size. I think that might fit. We'll see. Well, it's not bad for a universal fit. As universal fits go, it's not bad. I had to move it out a little bit so it doesn't scratch the side there. And this is really, I don't know why we need that, but there we go. Lovely. Job done. A real life 10-minute job, including a hammer, a 5 Allen key, and a block of wood. So I think we can get rid of this gnarly old piece of crap. On that note, I think we'll call it a day for this episode. So thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And encourage others to watch my lunacy.